Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick dropping in on you, hoping that you are having a great start to your week, hoping that you are aligned with your vision, aligned with your dream, your destiny, your desires, and that you are pushing toward it. Remember what I always tell you, that there are going to be some times that it doesn't seem like it's where it's supposed to be. There's going to be some times where you look up and it seems like everything is falling apart, that everything that can possibly go wrong seems to be going wrong. But remember, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. This thing is not about ease. It's about reward. This is not about finding the most comfortable route to getting somewhere. This is about saying, I'm ready to push through and do the things that most people won't do so that I can have the things that most people will never experience. It's about standing up and going out there and getting some things. And today I want to talk to you about why some of the things you need to do seem so scary until you do them. I want to talk to you about why so many people balk at the vision, balk at the dream, balk at the aspirations, balk at the desires, and they settle for a life of mediocrity. They settle for a life of average. They settle for a life of living in a default state of simply doing what you need to do to have the things you actually have to have, and never really truly optimizing their design, their gifting, their potential to do the phenomenal things in this world that they were literally created to do. This isn't about some selfish endeavor of chasing down something so that you can place yourself on a platform, but it is about recognizing the unique and powerful gift inside of yourself that is there for you to make an imprint in this world. You weren't designed to be average. You weren't designed to be mediocre. You weren't designed to just simply exist. You weren't designed to spend a life trying to survive. But what is it that's stopping you from stepping out into the unknown and doing the phenomenal? Let's talk about it. Before I do, I want to point you to the description box. There you're going to find one of our most successful online courses. It's a course I created to mimic how I work with my client. It's called The Mind Unleashed. It's about helping you get rid of those limiting beliefs, deal with those fears, deal with the uncertainty. Some of the things I'm going to talk about now and a lot more, that's in there. There's also some other links that allow you to tap into some other resources. But if you are looking for a self-placed uh, way to work through some of the things that are holding you back, this course is it. Now, especially if you're thinking about working with me at some time, but you don't think you're ready for whatever reason, this is a good place to start. Look, let's talk about it real brief. I'm not going to be much longer. Look, there are three primary things that will create this high level of fear that's almost paralyzing. You'll know what you want. You'll even know what needs to be done. But there are these fears that arise in you and literally shut you down. Let's talk about the three types of fears that are stopping you from moving in a way that will completely shift your life. And I'm telling you that nobody is better than anybody. People are simply living life from different spaces in their mind, different spaces in what they believe, different spaces in what they're willing to do. And that's the end of it. But fear of the unknown. Man, when you don't know what something is going to do, when you've never done it before, you don't know what it's going to feel like. You don't know what the outcome is. There's this high level of uncertainty, and the fear of unknown will people tend to, when they never done something and there's this fear of doing it, they tend to over project or over anticipate something bad happens. Now, let me explain why that happens real briefly. I don't want to get too technical, but in the early stages of the development of the human brain, we had what is now referred to as the reptilian brain, and we had the limbic system, and it was designed for one specific thing. And it's the core foundation at the very seat of your emotions, and it's survival. The brain was designed for survival. The brain is not designed to take risks. The brain is designed to minimize risk. Your natural instinctive thing is to keep yourself out of harm's way. Now, as we have progressed through society and progressed through a point of some level of civilization, the idea of just simply walking out of your cave or walking out of your hut or walking out of wherever and being immediately in harm's way from some animal or some enemy isn't the same now. Now, some people who live in certain areas might say that yes, it is. Well, you get what I'm saying. But what has happened is we have started to see things that would not have fazed someone from thousands of years ago phase us. We are stressed out about not having enough money. We're stressed out about relationships falling apart. We're stressed out about our career path. We're stressed out about the path of our children. And these translate into dangers to the brain. The brain can't distinguish that this isn't going to kill me. And now it will if you sit up and continue on, because chronic stress is a thing, and I don't want to get too far in that. But I am working on a symposium later this month that we'll talk about at another time. But you need to get into that too. But check this out. This thing triggers and it will paralyze you. It will shut you down because it's meant to pull you back from things that put you at risk. The problem is, anytime that you're expecting advancement, growth, you're expecting to experience some form of elevation, some form of advancement, it comes with a certain level of risk. You're going to have to be willing to put some skin in the game. You're going to have to be willing to step out and go above and beyond what you've done before. And it's not going to feel good because you've never done it before. You can't anticipate because you don't know what's coming. But you got to trust that if I do the work, if I stay on course, yes, I'm going to hit some bumps. Yes, I'm going to experience some delays. Yes, I'm going to have some disruptions. But at the end of the day, if I put in the work, I'm planting seeds, and the seeds always bring forth a harvest. You've got to understand that if you don't put in the work, you're never going to get the return of the harvest. You got to plant the seeds of effort, the seeds of learning, the seeds of research, the seeds of dedication. You've got to plant them because they're going to produce a return. Now you've got to guard them. You've got to go through a whole process, but process always precedes the promise. The only way you're going to get the promise is go through the process. But the problem is, so many people are balking at the process because of fear. The second thing that people fear is failure. I remember growing up, and as an athlete, all you heard all the time was what? Failure is not an option. That's I get it. I get where it's coming from, but the idea is it should be final failure is not an option. And the only way that you have final failure is to quit. Now, that is not an option, but you're going to fail. Failure is how you move. You're going to try to learn something. You're not going to be very good at it, but you're going to continue to try to learn it because you understand the importance of mastering it. And then at some point, you're going to realize I'm getting pretty good at this. Whether it was walking, whether it was riding a bike, whatever it is, you started out, you failed. But all of a sudden now everybody's got you thinking if you fail, you're a horrible person. If you fail, you aren't worthy of having anything. You fail forward. Everything worth having in my life, I've gotten it by failing forward. I've gotten it by trying and then learning from what I didn't do well to become better at it. Everything that I have accomplished, the companies, the 28 books, the academic accolades, the athletic accolades, the friendships, and everything came from sitting up and saying, "Man, I'm gonna try this." Ooh, man, I suck at that. And see, the problem is nobody wants to suck at anything. Everybody wants to be an expert without putting in the work. Everybody wants to be in the promise, but they haven't went through the process. Everybody wants the prize, but they haven't endured the process. You've got to be willing to go through the process, and the process is a step-by-step transcendence of failure. In other words, you fail, you move forward. Say, for instance, you set your goal at 100, whatever. Let's not make it by anything but 100. And with all your efforts you put forward, you need 100 whatever in a month. Let's say you get to a month and you've got 60. Everybody's going to say that's failure. No, what you did is you got 60 more of what you didn't have before you started. You didn't get the whole 100 by that time, but you got 60. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to set for the next month another 100. Now, you may get 75, but what do you end up with? 135. You're 35 over what you set yourself to start at. And how did you get there? You failed there. That's the thing you got to get rid of the fear of failure. Finally, the fear of leaving your comfort zone. See, that comfort zone, it's insulated again by familiarity. So we go back to number one, this thing about familiarity, this thing about understanding and knowing what I'm about to enter, the thing about knowing what I'm about to go into, what I'm about to experience, gives you a level of comfort and understanding. But when you're in a place where you're unfamiliar, you live in the comfort zone. See, familiarity, when I talk to people and I say, well, have you tried this? And they go, yeah, doc, but it didn't feel right. I tried it, but something wasn't feeling right. What they're actually saying is it didn't feel familiar. It wasn't just automatic. It was uncomfortable. And they don't like that. People retreat into comfort because it's familiar. They know if I just keep doing this, I know exactly what I'm going to get, even if it's not what I want. That's always blown my mind, even though I understand it on an academic level, the idea that I don't want this, but I'm going to stay here and get it because at least I know I'm going to get it. The idea of going out there to chase something more, but no certainty that I can have it scares me. So I'll stay right here and I'll be miserable. 85% of Americans, this is not me making up numbers, this is an actual study. 85% of Americans wake up every day and go to a job they hate. I didn't say dislike. I didn't say not crazy about, not passionate about. I said hate. That's 85% of our population waking up every day and committing spiritual suicide. Because every day you go to a place you don't hate. There are microaggressions happening in that place that are impacting the release of certain neurotransmitters, the release of certain hormones, including cortisol, which is flowing through your bloodstream and attacking your organs, down regulating your immune system genes, up regulating disease genes. And it's all because you have made up in your mind that you can't live without a place that's making you miserable. And let's be real. I hate to say this because I am a lover of marriage. I'm a lover of people. Some of us are with people that make us miserable. And we believe we can't live without it. I'm not big on breaking up. I'm not big on abandoning. I'm big on working on stuff. I'm big on figuring it out. But what I will tell you, sometimes you're with someone that just doesn't know how to be what you need them to be. And you sitting there with some sense of loyalty to something that makes you miserable long term is not good for your health. It's not good for your productivity. It's not good for the impact you need to make in this world. So you need to choose your friends, your loved ones, your mates, but you also need to choose your career, your path, your business opportunities based on what's going to align with you being the best version of yourself. And you're going to have to come out of that comfort zone. You're going to have to come out of that space where you know where everything is going to happen, because the problem is everything that you know isn't enough to get you where you're going. You're going to have to step out and discover some things. You're going to have to step out and move into some things. That's just how it is. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to be tight at times in your chest because you are uncertain. But what I can promise you is if you have a mindset that says, I will not quit, I will not give in, no surrender, no retreat. One of my mantras that whenever I speak, people who have watched me speak know when I walk up, you'll hear him saying, no surrender, no retreat. Why? Because I'm not quitting. I'm not giving in. I'm not turning around. I'm not letting go. I'm not folding. You can knock me down. I'm going to get back up. You can push me back. I'm going to press forward. You can talk about me. I'm going to let it roll off. What am I saying? I'm saying that ain't nothing stopping me for going after what I said I wanted, but death. And that's got to be the mindset. I'm going the distance. Has to be the mindset. I'm going the distance. Has to be the mindset. I will not stop. I will not quit, because quitting is the only way to final failure. I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to be a better person than I was the day before. I'm going to learn. I'm going to get better. And one of these days I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be an expert at something. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have value in a marketplace. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be touching lives. I'm going to wake up and something's going to be different about how I move in this world because I refuse to quit. Don't let fear stop you. Let it energize you. Let it motivate you. Let it challenge you. You're built for this moment. I promise you, whatever it is you're facing, you're built for this moment right here. Somebody is afraid to take the next step. You're built for this. Somebody's going through a hardship. You're built for this. Somebody's going through a separation and a divorce. You're built for this. Somebody got laid off. You're built for this. Whatever you're facing, you're built for it. What I don't want you to do is fold up in a corner. You're built for the battle that you are about to take on. You will win if you don't quit. You will win if you don't quit. That's my challenge to you. Don't quit. Before I go, I want to remind you one last time that if you have ever thought about working with me, but for whatever reason you can't, a good place to start is with the Mind Unleashed course, which is a step-by-step process of learning how I work with my clients and the steps you take to make massive change in your thinking, getting rid of limiting beliefs, conquering fear, conquering procrastination, learning how to make moves. And I'm telling you, no matter where you start, you can get there. No matter where you start, don't let anybody tell you it's too late. Don't let anybody tell you you're too far off. Don't let anybody tell you from where you come from. There's no such thing as a lot in life. Poverty is not a lot in life. Suffering is not a lot in life. Being underpaid is not a lot in life. Being miserable and lonely is not a lot in life. Being miserable and with someone is not a lot in life. You get to wake up every day and choose to be your best self, but you got to make a move. So there are some resources in there outside of the Mind Unleashed, but I really encourage you. And for those who want to work with me, you can email our support team at support@rickwallacephd.link and tell them you want to work with me, and they'll give you the information you need to have on that. We're doing some repricing, so what's on the site is a little off. But what I do want you to do is remember this, and then I'm off. You are responsible for living your destiny, and your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny. Bringing every thought into captivity, casting down arguments that exalt themselves against the knowledge of God. You've heard me talk about this over and over again. Learn how to bring this into submission to the things that you desire to do in the world. Commit yourself to that type of thought process, and you will overcome everything that comes in front of you. This is not a magic potion. You're not going to snap your fingers and everything's going to be better, but you will emerge victoriously. I promise you that. On that note, I'm out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. That means I actualize every ounce of my potential. I will not leave anything on the table. I will not leave anything on the field. I will leave this place having given this life everything God gave me to give it. And I will leave proudly knowing I made an imprint and I built a legacy, and you owe it to yourself to do the same thing. On that note, I'm out of here. Every last one of you have an unbelievable day, and I hope to be hearing from some of you. Take care.